Hello and welcome to the iTnews podcast. I'm your host, Eleanor Dickinson. Our guest this fortnight is Stevie-Ann Dovico, the CIO and Group Executive of Technology at Beyond Bank. Stevie-Ann joined the customer-owned bank from NAB in 2024 and has been working to uplift its knowledge management, technology capability and data governance. To solidify this, she has spearheaded the creation of a new data strategy, which aims to improve Beyond Bank's access to data insights, improve its digital self-servicing, and support its frontline agents. During this episode, Stevie-Ann also lifted the lid on how this data groundwork is underpinning some of the bank's current forays into generative AI, including the adoption of Microsoft Copilot.
It's been a really interesting 12 months, but the strategy that we've created is really about being the Australia's best relationship bank, and we do that through enabling financial wellbeing. That's the business strategy. So I naturally build my tech strategy to be an enabler for that business strategy. For me, it's about enabling our people and our customers to be able to serve our customers and our customers to self-serve where they want. So really a human-led bank and digital where our customers choose to self-serve. Technology is the biggest enabler for our bank. So we've really focused on three key pillars, starting from protect. So really the basics of banking is customers give you their money. They want you to do two basic things: keep it safe and give it to them when they want. And that in tech speak is security and availability. So protect is really about putting the layers of security that are needed to keep customers' data safe and their money safe, and then building the resilience and the availability for customers so that they can get access to their money when they need it. And then from there, when you have the right foundations, you can really create value. So that really focuses on how do we use our data to better understand our customers, how they spend, how they save, and meld that with our very rich history in managing money to give them really great outcomes. And those outcomes come in financial well-being, and that's how we return value. So it's really creating and returning simultaneously.
You've been in the role for about a year now. Other CIOs I've spoken to often say that the first year is often planning. I don't know if that's the same for you, and if so, maybe take us through what some of the core stages of that roadmap looks like.
Yeah, I'm pretty action-orientated human. This year has definitely not just been about planning. When you come into a role, the first thing you do is you have to listen. And I listened a lot to get a really good understanding of where we were. We were really fortunate at the time when I came in to have been building that business strategy. So it was a really good time to meld business and tech together and help craft a strategy that would enable the business strategy. And then it was about getting to work. There were obvious gaps that I knew we needed to fill. We focused, as I said, really heavily on security and availability and resilience because we wanted to have these really robust foundations so that we could build off there and innovate. I guess the stages in which, after the listening stage and the melding the business strategy and kind of working with my business peers to say, what do we want out of the business? Everything about that strategy just hung back to how do we become the best relationship bank? How do we enable financial well-being? How do we use technology to really drive impact in the communities, because community is a big part of what we do. And it's been a fun ride.
It sounds like you had your work cut out for you when you started. So in light of that, I would love to hear what some of the key initiatives you've either managed to kick off or even gone as far as fully executing in the year you've been there.
We did quite a lot of work in security, just really ramping up vulnerability management and identification, ramping up our capability to scale that through both managed services providers and internal capability. When I came into the role, there was a lot of vacancies. So that's the blessing and a curse. You don't have some of the history that would be helpful, but I was really fortunate to be able to hire a really excellent team. And in a mutual bank, it's a really unique kind of setup because you just don't have the budget and the huge amounts of teams, armies of people to do things. So it's always about having a really purposeful recruitment strategy around finding people that are really excellent experts in their field, but want to get their hands dirty, want to be with the team, anyone that can get down to the, say, code level, but also can craft a strategy and bring things together. And so I was really lucky to recruit such an excellent team to help me build that capability. And we've done a lot around how do we shift culture. People need to understand where we are and what good looks like and paint that picture and that vision and that strategy. And that's the motivation side of that. From the motivation, you've got to be giving people real clarity around their roles. And what is my part of that amazing thing that we want to get to, or that great goal that we want to kick? And then it's about getting right people in right roles. So if you have right people, the clarity and the motivation, then you know that you can execute. So that's been a big part, the hiring journey. And then other than that, I'm really excited to play very cautiously with nascent and emerging technology, because for our business model, where you don't have so many people, automation and using tools like AI is actually becomes really important, because it scales the very limited resources, capability or capacity to be able to do things. We've done quite a bit of that experimentation in, so the call center. We're doing a bit around how do we pass some of our knowledge management, so we can, instead of looking through pages of information, you're really bringing forward just the relevant information in a conversational style. There've been some of the really good things. We've really deep into a data strategy, which we will present to the board, and hopefully we'll get that signed off, and that'll help us really amp up our data capabilities and really look at how do we meld that with customer enabling technology so that we can empower the front line to have richer, more meaningful conversations with customers, and also have that through the channel so then customers can self-serve as well. And that'll be a really good personalized way of scaling what we do best across all the channels that we have.
Oh my gosh, there's so much to unpack. Yeah. Is there anything you can tease from the data strategy?
So stemming back from the goal, which is about being the best relationship bank and about enabling financial well-being, and you have a really honest conversation, you can't be the best relationship bank unless you have your data in order and you have an environment that can scale appropriately to be able to go and give your frontline the insights that you need to have really good conversations. So we're probably not leveraging the data that we have about our customers as well as we could have in real time in order to have these conversations that anticipate their needs. We've got a 93% customer satisfaction, and that's because the people in the branch are having beautiful conversations. They know their customers. You can see it when you go to the community events. People rave about how much they love the people. What I want to do is be able to give the people a superpower, like eating a mushroom in the Mario and they grow and they're able to anticipate needs and have those conversations and get to the needs of the customer faster. A lot of that is in the data, and it's about leveraging that data. So there's a big tech element to that. We want to look at uplifting some of our MarTech capabilities so that we can drive more personalized digital conversations with customers via various channels there. Data governance and knowledge management, they're good, but they naturally can be uplifted. And as our technology evolves, you've really got to shift the governance, the operating model to be able to take advantage and manage your risks while implementing great new things.
You've already touched on artificial intelligence, and you've got some ideas for how you want it to look in the organization. Can you share any use cases at the moment where you envision, or where it's already playing a role at Beyond Bank?
We started with, what's the easiest use case? Let's use like Copilot from Microsoft 365. That'll help us write emails faster, or help context the emails, or help us pass information in our Teams chats or whatever. Like, I'm a big believer in like measuring what you put in, even if it's a small thing like here, have Copilot from Microsoft 365. We checked the satisfaction, we checked how much people felt this tool helped them with productivity, like that all tick, tick, tick. That was great. Very small experiment. So we're like, okay, if we can do this, we can probably do something different. If people like so much the ability to use kind of search-based to bring forward information, we could probably do this with, say, our knowledge management more broadly. And every company will tell you like, oh, the internet sucks. And no one wants to spend money on the internet because it's the internet and the ROI of that is very low. But I was like, well, how about if we use this same kind of functionality, instead of going and redoing every page and every UI and the clicks for the internet, why don't we use AI to be able to just ask the question to the page? Let's just have a killer search. And so that's part of the stuff that we're doing now, is trialing, instead of me, okay, when does X contract, go and find this contract in the contract management system and look for the date. I'm like, when does this contract run out? And I get that information. Oh, it's on this date and here's the link to the contract. Bang. I didn't have to go and design the UI for the contract management system. That's just a waste of time. I put a search and people can just ask for what they want, and that's a natural conversational style. Again, not a really exciting use case, but it's really helpful because people are like, whoa, I don't have to look for things. That saves me time. And then if we pick it to like more of a customer example where we want to use it live, we are experimenting with, in the call center, being able to use AI to bring forward the most relevant policies or next best things that the call center agency or customer relationship center agents can use to have better conversations with our customers. And we'll trial those in very low risk use cases and start to scale as we see some success, and use that in the front line in banking. We hope to do that, and then eventually live onto our customer website so that they're not, again, trawling through the clicks. They're just going, oh, like, what's your rates? Bang. These are our rates.
I've seen some great examples of how that's playing in a contact center space, like the case summarization, and the AI is able to pick up customer pain points before the agent has probably even loaded the page. It's really incredible stuff.
Oh, they've got such a hard job because they're trying to listen and write compliance notes and find the right policy and all of these things. And I think all of the other things outside of listening take away from your ability to truly listen to the conversation and then give the customer the real service that they need. That's what we're trying to do, is like peel back the peripheral stuff, augment that with technology, and let them focus in on the things that are like most human or most important to have done by a human.
You mentioned earlier that you're delivering your data strategy to the board. How do you ensure that you've got stakeholder buy-in from the board, from the executive, and make technology and business objectives firmly align?
I think you get the buy-in by showing that this isn't just another tech thing. And I'm really not a fan of just doing another tech thing. You've got to understand that as a tech leader, so many things seem very obvious, but you've got to understand that actually all these stakeholders that you're talking to have their own area of expertise. They probably don't know, they definitely don't know what's going on in your head. So it's about just in real explainable language, like very basic, like business-focused language, because you're talking to other business stakeholders, like, why is this investment so important? There's really a few factors that will make the investment important. We're worried about managing our risk. So how will this investment help us to make better risk-weighted decisions? We want to make sure our customers are happy. How will this make sure that our customer satisfaction remains high or increases? We want to have deeper relationships with our customers. How will this technology enable deeper relationships with customers? Like, the easiest way is to go and look at your key strategic objectives that you've written as a business and say, okay, even test yourself. Like, it's really easy as a technologist to get excited by technology. Like you do, I consciously say to myself, okay, this is a really cool thing, but will it solve these problems that we're like all scorecarded on? Yes or no? If yes, then it's a good idea. And then how do we do this most efficiently? But if it's not going to, then it's probably not a good idea.
What's next for you then for the rest of the year? What's next on the agenda in terms of technology priorities? You've mentioned the data strategy already. So what else is there?
So definitely data strategy. That'll be really exciting. Customer engagement technology is another big focus, and that'll go hand in hand with the data strategy. In terms of the core tech, we're just continuing to migrate workloads to the cloud, boring stuff, but stuff that we want to do. And again, that's for scalability and resilience and efficiency and service management capability. So again, just uplifting some of the tooling that we have around observability, and that will help us, and change, like management of change and those sort of things. So lots to do. Never a dull moment. I love it, but it's sufficiently hands-on.
Is there any particular challenges that you're having to overcome currently, or that you envision you will have to overcome with the advancing of technology?
Everyone will have very similar challenges in the fact that cyber is obviously top of mind. The thing that keeps anyone in tech up at night is that it's not if, it's when. So being able to have the best monitoring and detection and identification systems, and then also like having the right playbooks. The way we write our playbooks is, if you had to wake up at 2:00 in the morning to deal with an incident, half asleep, could you read and execute this thing? It's always building on those scenarios, so that as the environment evolves, you've got to build your scenarios so that people can again run and execute these things. That's our big challenge. There's a lot of talk about quantum and quantum breaking the encryptions, but personally, I think you'll use the same technology to have better encryption. I think the challenge of a technology leader is outside of trying to manage your business and the business and everything is like keeping pace with the way that technology is changing. So it's nice to have a true passion for it because I like listening to the podcast.
That's fabulous. Last but not least, what key takeaways would you say you have developed over your career that anybody who's looking to rise up the ranks of technology leadership or advance their own careers, what advice would you give them?
Just put your hand up for things, or when you're given or you can see an opportunity, never say no. Even if you think, oh God, I don't even know if I can do this, you'll work it out. You'll figure out a way. Surround yourself with really good people. Don't always think that you have to be the smartest person in the room. Leveraging expertise is a really important thing, especially as you rise up the ranks, because you couldn't possibly cover everything in the depth that each individual that you can work with will have. So yeah, take the opportunities and don't fear these opportunities, but don't fear asking for help and asking questions, asking dumb questions, because the learning process is really exciting too.
Stevie-Ann, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. It's been a pleasure. That's the episode for this fortnight. Stay tuned for the next episode. And for all the latest headlines and happenings in Australian technology news, head over to itnews.com.au.